Hey everybody, welcome to New Gameplay. Today I'm Kyle Hilliard here with Charles Hart.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
It's good. It's a treasure hunting Tuesday.
Treasure on Tuesday. Yeah, so this is Dragon Quest Treasures, which you've been playing. You're pretty far in at this point, I think, right?
Yeah, well, I'm 7 hours in, which in human time is a long way in. In Dragon Quest Treasure time, it's not that far in.
In Dragon Quest time, in general. I mean,
Right.
It's always been a game that's very,
Yes. I know there are 7 dragon stones that, you eventually are told that you're trying to get. And 7 hours in, I've yet to find one. So
oh boy.
this
okay.
is a long in.
Yeah, so this is... Okay, so to set up a little bit, this is a prequel to Dragon Quest XI.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently playing as the sister...
Mia is her name.
Mia, who is the sister of Erik. Erik was a party member in Dragon Quest XI. And Mia made an appearance, but it just kind of as like a... I don't think she was ever in the party or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, which, Dragon Quest XI, turn-based classic RPG. What is this thing, Charles? What kind of game is this?
Yeah, this is more action-oriented, and it's very treasure-focused, as you could guess from the name. Sorry, there's some big truck outside.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not hearing it, so we're good.
So Erik and Mia are just so into treasure, and it's one of those things where they kind of wake up on their ship and they say, hey, we would really love to find some treasure. And then that's all the explanation you really need. It's like, yep, that's the main goal, is to find treasure. So, I mean, you can see the combat here. It's this, like, pretty simple combat thing. There's, like, a dodge roll button that I have some issues with because it doesn't usually, like, interrupt your attack. So you kind of have to really plan out when you're gonna roll.
Right.
But this is really early on. Eventually the world opens up a little bit more, and you're kind of just going through these free roam areas. There's an icy world, there's a fire world, there's a desert world.
I mean, is it an open world game?
It feels like it. So I will say there's a bunch of different worlds, and from the very beginning, from the very 3 hours in, it'll say, like, hey, there's different chances of your monsters finding treasure in these different places. So it's actually really encouraged for you to jump around to each of these different zones. And I've found, in my experience, the levels have scaled a bit. So it'll usually be like the closer you are to the first train station, they'll be a little lower leveled. And then the farther you go, the more challenging it'll get. But it's the same for like ice and desert and fire, whatever. You can't just freely go between all of them, but once you're in kind of like a zone, you're free to walk around. And again, the farther you get, the higher the levels are, but...
Right. Oh boy, it's one of these guys. And then we should note, I have like 3 party members with me, Gunther, Uzabel, and Mogsworth, who all just attack automatically?
Yes. There's eventually like an Unleash the Dragon ability where you can kind of get them to do a special move, but they are mostly passive, which I would like more direction over what they do, but I haven't ever had like an issue where I've been like, oh man, I really wanted them to use this ability now.
Right.
The game even mentions like there's like like interactions between different types of damage. So if you do one type of attack and then follow it up with another attack, then it'll do extra damage. But it says in the menu, like, but this is really hard to set up. So it's mainly just something you're hoping will work out. So it's not really... There is some strategy to it, but the game is a lot more focused on you being like, all right, Uzabella really likes armor. And if you want to go to the desert, then she'll have a better chance of finding treasure because there's going to be armor there right now.
Okay. And then they also give you these, like, I just used one earlier where the 3 that I have, they all do the same thing. I imagine.
Yes.
Like they have different abilities depending on who's in your party and stuff in the future, right?
Yeah, those are called fortes. So there's a jump one. There's like a gliding one you get pretty quickly. My favorite one is the sprint one, which is the only way you can sprint in this game.
Oh yeah, that seems nice. I keep clicking the left thumbstick like this to sprint, which puts you into like a sneak mode.
Yes.
It's like, oh, that's literally the opposite of what I want to happen right now.
Yeah, I wish you could sprint more. That is one kind of issue I have with the zones, is I just want to be able to move around more quickly. But yeah, the game tries to get you to pick certain monsters to get certain treasure, but I find I pick them for the different fortes so I can get around easier.
Right. Yeah, there's Erik. There's the brother, right? Yeah, I actually ended up being surprised by this game. I wasn't following it very closely. For some reason, the title, Treasures, made me think it was like a puzzle game. I don't know why.
Yeah, like a match 3 puzzle game.
Yeah, well, not even necessarily match 3, but just like, this is a spin-off from Dragon Quest. It's like a fun little puzzle game featuring these, these characters from the game. So I don't know what I was thinking, but it was like, oh no, this is like an action RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more. There's a lot of systems going on in a very RPG way of like. Again, I'm 7 hours in. I still am getting all these tutorials of like, this system. I know there's a lot of pellets. You've picked up some of those. You can use like your slingshot to shoot pellets.
I can shoot them right like this. Boom.
Yeah. Soon I'll be able to craft them, so you can make different like elemental ones to do different types of damage to enemies.
Gotcha. Is this like one of those? I feel they're pretty popular now. Where it's like, is this a response to Breath of the Wild? Are they kind of going for an open game where you can glide around and stuff like that, or is it does feel a lot different?
It feels different because of the way. So every time you go out into the world, your goal is to get treasure, and your monsters can only hold so much of it. So it's really more like you're gonna go out and spend half-hour max in an area, and then come back to get your treasure appraised and put it in your hoard.
Gotcha.
As opposed to Breath of the Wild, which is a lot more about like the organic discovery of stuff.
Yeah, I guess the fact that you can unlock a glide to me just it just feels like an easy line to draw and be like, oh, they saw the success of Breath of the Wild and wanted to do something similar. But I guess it's not really like that.
It's really you're just holding on to a bat's feet while he flies around.
Hey, that's good. That's good stuff.
I didn't really mention like a big part of this game is you like will befriend and tame the monsters you find.
Okay. Yeah, Dragon Quest has kind of always toyed with that, right? Yeah. The slimes are way too friendly looking to be enemies the whole game, But yeah, I mean, as we're sort of falling into a cutscene here, I mean, I think that's a good look at Dragon Quest Treasures. I actually, Charles, if you wouldn't mind looking up the release date, I'm not sure when it comes out. I believe it's just Switch and PC? I could be wrong about that. Oh, the Borderlands introduction. There we go. But yeah, Charles is working on the review. We'll have a review up on the site at some point. It's a big game,
It's a big game. It comes out the 9th, which I believe is Friday, yes.
Cool. So Dragon Quest Treasures.
I'm trying to find the platforms. I'm reviewing it on Switch. I think it might just be Switch, yeah.
Okay, cool. I knew if nothing else, Switch was like the lead platform,
And it definitely is also younger skewed if you hadn't picked that up from the gameplay yet. It feels a little bit like a animated kids show, which I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
Especially in some of like the voice acting. Almost reminds me of like the delivery on like a Dora or something like that of the main protagonist.
Okay, so way back. All right.
I don't think it's meant for like a 4-year-old, but I feel like it sometimes.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Well, Charles, thanks for walking me through the game. That's Dragon Quest Treasures, coming out December 9th on Switch for sure. Yeah, it seems cool, especially if you like Dragon Quest XI. This seems like an interesting prequel so far, anyway.